Welcome to the channel. I'm the Scottish Astrologer, and in this video I'm going to talk about the coming full moon in Gemini and how this particular full moon and its energies directly links with the United Kingdom's Christmas general election, and also how it links with the two main players involved in this particular election running to be Prime Minister, who is of course Boris Johnson and Jeremy Corbyn. Now, this election is quite unusual and rare election for the UK, as we never have an election in the month of December for obvious reasons. Now, the last time the UK did have an election in December was roughly 100 years ago. So again, quite a rare election for the United Kingdom. And now, with a full moon taking place on this day of the election, and with the moon being in the sign of Gemini, this is very intriguing indeed, as both the leader of the Conservative Party, Boris Johnson, and the leader of the Labour Party, Jeremy Corbyn, are both Geminis, okay, though they're very different people. And only one of these two men, these two Geminis, can become the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. So this is why this truly is the battle of the Geminis for the future of the United Kingdom. And the story is being told in the heavens, of course, as above, so below. Again, this election is very hard to call, based on the astrology harmonising with both men, like I mentioned, as well as there's no available birth time for Jeremy Corbyn to see if he was to benefit by any other current astrological configurations. So it's very hard to tell, very hard to call. This election is also hard to call, as a lot of people have been told that Corbyn will ruin the country, okay, if he's elected. And of course everyone else can see that Boris Johnson is a very dishonest person and incompetent and a promise breaker. Classic politician though, but he takes it to the next level. And if you live in the United Kingdom and are keeping up with the news regarding what's going on with the election, it truly seems as if the Conservative Party is doing everything it can to lose this election. Blunder after blunder, insult after insult, proven incompetency after incompetency, lie after lie. So yeah, on one hand we're told one of the potential Prime Ministers will ruin the country, and on the other hand we can all see that it's a scary thought giving full legitimacy to the other potential Prime Minister and current Prime Minister, although not fully legitimate, as he's never been voted in a general election. This will be his chance to be a legitimate Prime Minister. And another reason that this election is extremely difficult to call and predict is because this election is more like a referendum on the Brexit question than anything else, okay? General elections aren't usually based upon a question that should be held in a referendum, okay? But this whole election and who runs our country for the next 5 years is just being based on whether we want Brexit or we want to remain. And that's the strangest situation to actually have an election, a general election for, okay, in my opinion anyway, and I'm sure in a lot of other people's. And so, as the last referendum we had on Brexit was quite close, okay, percentage-wise. I know it was an extra million people voted for Brexit, but percentage-wise it was close, it was a close referendum. So again, as this election is like a second referendum really, then the winner will be based, okay, the winner of this election will be based on whether or not the British people have changed their minds, okay, on the Brexit question. Keeping in mind it's nearly 4 years on since we were first asked, and we have a lot more information at hand than we did when we were first asked, okay? Just my opinion. So yeah, it all comes down to whether or not the British people as a whole have changed their mind about Brexit. Or, of course, if they just want a different kind of Brexit than Boris Johnston's Brexit deal, with a say on a new deal, okay, if any. So there's two options here. Sorry, three options. Whether or not people have changed their mind and want to remain, okay. Whether or not we still want Brexit with what Boris is calling Brexit, or if we still want Brexit but want a different kind of deal and a different kind of Brexit. So there's actually three sort of questions that are at stake in this general election. So yeah, it's very hard to call based on this, and also the astrology is not giving away any clues at all. And so if the British people have indeed changed their mind and want to remain, or they want a different kind of Brexit, then Labour will win this general election. We will have a Labour government, okay? But if the British people have still not changed their minds about Brexit, and are of course so desperate for Brexit that they will settle for a Boris Brexit and Boris to remain Prime Minister, okay, then we will have a Conservative government. Now, the most likely outcome is for a hung Parliament, with neither the Conservatives nor the Labour Party gaining a majority. And of course, in this scenario, the Conservatives will try and form a government being backed by the Brexit Party, and Labour would of course try and form a government being backed by the SNP and or the Lib Dems, etc. But whatever happens, the United Kingdom is in for big change ahead, leading to the Great Conjunction of 2020, which takes place on December the 21st. And the UK will either have a Boris Brexit future, okay, or a revival of British socialism under Jeremy Corbyn and the Labour Party. So again, big change ahead either way. And again, this truly is the battle of the Geminis. We have even had another powerful Gemini butt their nose in on this battle, okay, and that man is Donald Trump. Because Donald Trump was interviewed on the Nigel Farage show on LBC, and he was saying, if the British people vote for Jeremy Corbyn, then it will ruin the United Kingdom, etc., etc. And now, talking about Donald Trump relating to this up-and-coming full moon on December the 12th, I think something will also happen regarding Trump around the 12th of December to early January before the next full moon after this one, and something that will be involving this whole impeachment case that's ongoing, as this Gemini full moon also affects Trump, as again he is also a Gemini. But okay, back to the election. I do believe whoever loses this election, either Boris or Corbyn, will have to step down afterwards. So this truly is a battle for these Geminis, okay? And now, this election being held under a Gemini full moon on that very day, apart from being Corbyn and Boris's zodiac signs, okay, is the fact that it also harmonises with the election itself, as the ruling planet of Gemini is Mercury, which represents thinking and also decision making. And that's exactly what we have to do on that day in the United Kingdom. And it's a very black or white decision for which Gemini and future we want for the UK. And this aspect of being very black or white, or left or right if you like, harmonises perfectly with the sign of Gemini itself. So whoever came up with this date for the election, they've been told by an astrologer Definitely, it's no coincidence they choose the election to be held in December when it never is, but under a full moon, okay? And this in this particular sign, okay? It's no coincidence, but you can believe it is if you like. Now, again, this election is very hard to call, and the astrology is not showing a clear winner, but I will say that Jeremy Corbyn should not be underestimated at all, okay? He's the underdog in this election, and he's the underdog who is being attacked by absolutely everyone, okay? And the untrusted mainstream media is basically saying he's an anti-Semitic, or they're pushing the news, okay? They might not directly be saying that, but they're pushing that news by people who are saying that he's all sorts of things, from an anti-Semitic to a Marxist, etc., etc. It's just ongoing, constant attacks. And now whether all this which is being said about him is true or is not true, okay, people in general do not believe this stuff anymore when it's coming from the sources which it's coming from, okay? For most people, if you keep telling them you should not vote for someone or you should not do something, then they tend to do just that, okay? It's human nature. And I will also add that no matter who wins this election on this occasion, nationalism, okay, or national pride, which we've been seeing through the whole Brexit scenario, always ends up morphing or becoming socialism, okay? Nationalism or national pride always becomes socialism. So I will point that out to people. And just to make clear, I do not support any political party or the current system, just to make that crystal clear, okay? I am just showing you how the astrology keeps corresponding with relevant and important events over and over again. That's all I'm trying to do, is show you how astrology is true and it harmonises with stuff. This is a way in which I can show you there is something to astrology by pointing this stuff out. Now, the other astrological influences which are working with the moon on this day and at this moment are Mars, okay, who is in rulership in Scorpio. And Mars in Scorpio happens to be conjunct the ascendant, and which is aspecting the moon. And this shows that this election will be a true battle, okay, for the future of the country. A hard fought battle in which nothing will be held back, okay? Every dirty trick that can be played will be played in this election, okay? It could get quite dark, this one in particular. Now we also have the triple conjunction of Saturn, Venus and Pluto in Capricorn, which Capricorn is a United Kingdom zodiac sign, okay? And now the conjunction of Saturn and Pluto in the sign of Capricorn represents to me the deep state when it comes to the whole UK Brexit scenario, okay? It keeps playing over and over, this conjunction of Saturn and Pluto in particular in Capricorn keeps coming into play when it comes to full moons, etc., which are harmonising with what's going on in the United Kingdom. So to me, it shows clearly this is the deep state. This is what this is representing, the deep state. And so this shows that the deep state will be involved in trying to influence the result of this election the best way they can, okay? And having Venus joining Saturn and Pluto, then it seems that this will help them get their way regarding this election, okay? So who they want to win this election will win, okay? So whoever does win, the deep state wanted them in there, okay, when it comes to this election, believe it. And now finally, we also have Neptune, as you can see, who is in rulership in the sign of Pisces, who is making a square aspect to the moon. Now this is showing that all is not what it seems in this election, okay? And the best way I can explain this to you is that it's in the sense that what you believe you are voting for in this election is not what you will actually get. And okay, and that's common with every election, okay, but this one in particular being attached to the Brexit question, which is important to the people of the United Kingdom, where they put their vote, they'll be thinking it's going to either deliver Brexit or stop Brexit. And what I'm saying is, when what Neptune in Pisces is showing is illusions and trickeries, okay? So if you vote for parties you think you're getting Brexit, you're getting the opposite, okay? This is what this is showing. So be aware of that. For people who do vote, okay, vote carefully. Just I'm warning you of this, okay? What you think you're getting out of your vote, you're not going to get out of your vote. It's going to be the opposite. So keep that in mind. So again, I just thought I would make this video to point out how once again the heavenly bodies are harmonizing with events and with people, important people and relevant people down below on earth. So again, as above, so below. There is true value and meaning in this statement, okay? As long as you know where to look. Okay folks, I think I've went on enough for this video. A huge thanks for watching. Please do like, share and subscribe if you haven't already. And don't forget to hit the bell at the right hand side of the subscribe button to be kept updated when I upload new videos, because if you just push subscribe and don't click the bell, for some reason sometimes people you're subscribed to, their videos don't pop up in your recommended videos feed. But if you hit the bell, then you will always get an alert with my new videos. Okay, so once again guys, huge thanks for watching. Take care.